Joining us now to talk more about that is the senator from Oklahoma, Jim Inhofe. Senator Inhofe, good to see you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, I know all about your Barbie dolls and all of that, Maria. Nice to be with you.
Yes, well, I'm glad you were watching the program. What's your take on Gary Cohn losing this battle over tariffs and resigning?
See, I don't really care that much because he didn't like me anyway.
Oh.
We disagreed on privatizing air traffic control and didn't get along very well. So let's see who he's replaced by.
Yeah, well, that's a good point because he really did have a different policy agenda than others in the White House and others in Congress. And he was sort of that moderating voice in the president's circle of close advisors to push back on some things that may look protectionist, may look too nationalistic. So is it a negative that that voice is gone?
Yeah, there are a lot of people out there. I've heard a lot of names. In fact, you just mentioned several of them. Any of them would be, I think, good, quite frankly, an improvement.
Right, but the point is getting that voice out of there. Is that a negative? Does this mean that the tariffs go through and this president could actually get more aggressive on these kinds of practices?
Well, it seems to me, and that I've gotten to know the president pretty well, the more aggressive he gets, the more he gets done.
Okay.
I mean, look what's happening right now in North Korea. I believe all of that started when he made the strong statement to Kim Jong-un that he had a bigger button, he could fire something and wipe him off the map, and all of a sudden, Un started talking to South Korea and saying, I think we'll come to the Winter Games and all of that. We were over there during that time. And we had a hearing yesterday, Maria, that you probably didn't see, but I chaired the hearing. It's Armed Services. We had all of the intelligence people in there. None of them believe that this guy is going to change, that he really wants to negotiate,
right,
except me. I was the only one. And the reason is that the guy has never been talked to that way, like our president has talked to him, and he has started changing at that point.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, his daddy didn't have a bargaining chip like he has. You know, he does have a weapon that he could use, so that puts him in a position where he can negotiate and negotiate for real.
Yeah.
And with the problems we have there out in North Korea, economic problems, I think he needs a change.
But you know what? And I know you just came back from the DMZ. You actually visited the DMZ, the border, which is, of course, right off of North Korea, in North Korea. But this is why people are afraid to go against the president's decisions. He's been right. Okay, he got North Korea and South Korea to come together. He pushed that tax plan, and now we're talking about 3.5% growth. I recognize that, you know, the upset over this plan, but listen to what the senator is saying, Tegan. That's why people don't want to go against this president. His policies have been working.
Well, and they also, with all due respect to the senator, they don't want to go against him because if you do publicly, President Trump will call you out on Twitter. President Trump will try to embarrass you.
Well, but again, what I just said, he's not going to call me out. I know that.
Yeah, but Senator, to your point, what are your constituents, the businesses that operate in your state, what are they telling you about these potential steel tariffs, if broadly applied?
Oh, on the tariffs, you're changing subjects here. Yeah, on
no,
the
but
tariffs.
We're talking about the president's agenda working, and that's
yes,
why.
Of course.
Yeah, it's the same subject.
Yeah.
Right, it's the same issue.
I'm going to give you a minority opinion here because no one else seems to agree with this, but I think he's softening him up for negotiations. He's been talking for a year about getting a better deal and the better trade going, and what better way to set up negotiations than to do exactly what he's doing. This is the impression I get by being around this guy. He gets things done, but he does it in a different way. Totally unorthodox, but I think that's what he's up to.
I just want to quickly point out something we haven't brought up yet, but there was an association of 114 aluminum companies that wrote a letter yesterday, releasing a letter to President Trump, calling on him to scrap this idea. So again, in theory, these aluminum companies would benefit from this. They were in favor of something that targets China, but exempts our trading partners like Canada. They worry about their own businesses. Again, if you hit the steel consuming companies, and aluminum's consuming companies, it ultimately hurts the very manufacturers of aluminum and steel.
Well, and what you're saying, Senator, is that you don't even buy it. You think this is all a negotiating move. Let me ask you, we know you've got the bipartisan effort to roll back the Dodd-Frank law. What are you expecting to accomplish here in terms of in the Senate on Dodd-Frank?
Oh, on Dodd-Frank? Well, first of all, Senator Crapo, is doing a fantastic job. The big problem that we have with the previous president was overregulation.
Yeah.
Farmers would tell you that, bankers would tell you that, and now he's setting up something right now where they could exempt some of the banks, smaller banks, community banks, from the burdensome regulations, and they're rejoicing in my state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I was with them yesterday giving a talk to Oklahoma. They're excited about it. It should have been done before now. It took Mike Crapo to get it done. It'll be done today.
All right, we will watch that. Jim Inhofe, good to see you, sir. Thanks so much, Senator.
You bet.
We'll be right back.